Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Retro Pop Planet and welcome back to another episode of Can I Fix It? The series where I try to take something that I find either at a flea market or a thrift store and see if I can get it repaired. I don't know, depending on the episode that you're watching. I think I'm maybe 50% on this series for being able to actually fix these items. But I got something really cool to show you today. About, 5 or 6 years ago, I was at a traveling flea market, a flea market that comes to my area basically once a quarter. I came across this 1980 Bradley talking Star Wars alarm clock. It was working. I say was because I got it home and my fumble fingers, I was walking through my house one day to put it up on a shelf and I dropped it and it stopped working. And I was really bummed out about it. Basically, it's a talking alarm clock. This definitely would have been for children. There's a basic function here, an on and an auto. I have a feeling the auto is just as a test. And then on, you set the alarm clock, or you set the clock in general, whatever time that you set for the alarm for, then it would play a message. And the message is kind of annoying, as most of these things are, but I thought it was pretty cool. And it doesn't seem like there's much going on here. So I thought it could be something that I could fix. And I'm pretty sure this would have been an analog toy from the 1980s. There's nothing that I think is digital about this toy. Let's go ahead and open it up and see if we can at least figure out what's wrong with it. I'll try not to make this too boring, as this video will be a lot of me fumbling around. You can see the little bit of damage here from where I dropped the clock. It takes a C-cell battery. And then you're supposed to wind the clock motor and set the alarm to your wake up time. Man, I really struggled getting these little screws out. There are 4 on the bottom and 1 in the battery compartment. The big problem is that this plastic is old and brittle and the screws are threaded directly into the mounting holes, which is not ideal. I detected an immediate issue when the bottom finally popped off and that one of the wire solders had been disconnected. Probably from me dropping it onto the floor. It's basically on a series from what I can tell where, it's got that voice box, which is in countless number of toys. I've encountered these in the different robots that I've worked on before. I know it's in a lot of voice box toys, especially from the 70s and 80s. They're all basically the same. I think it was a patented product from Japan, and it's really ingenious. It's just a little record. It's a fairly simple design. You have a record, a motor, a diaphragm which acts as a speaker, and a tensioner. There are 2 primary reasons for their malfunction. The first is the belt. Sometimes they snap. You can use a rubber band as a quick fix. Fortunately, this one is in great condition. If you're familiar with Kenner Star Wars toys, they use these little motors and they'll seize up over time if not used. So let's check to see if we can get this one restarted. You usually can hook it up to the battery and turn it a couple of times, but this one took a lot of turns. I wish there were a way to check the belt without complete disassembly because it took about a half hour to get the box back together. I should have just jump started the motor first. I couldn't get a very good connection and it turns out that one of the battery terminals was green and corroded. I cleaned it with a bit of white vinegar, sandpaper, and an anti-corrosion cleaning fluid. I knew I was going to have to solder some wires. Here's where I step in and let you know that I'm not very good at it. I can get the job done, but I won't be switching careers anytime soon.
Don't forget to wind the clock.
Here's where that metal tensioner comes in handy. You can screw clockwise or counterclockwise to adjust the vocal speed. When I put it in a series together, it'll play, but it won't stop. It needs something to shut it off, and that's where it would go up into the clock. So let's go see now what's going on in this clock area and if it's something that we can fix. It's a very simple yet complicated clock, and I don't know anything about clocks. And from what I can tell, it's probably a gear that's slipping because you know, I can hear the ticking, which means that the motor mechanism is still working, but it's not turning, or it's kind of like skipping and it's not trying to make that connection. So I have a feeling there's some gears in there that I'm missing, but this is a toy, as I mentioned previously. And from what the instructions say that I can read, you have to wind it daily, which isn't very efficient at all. Here, let me show you what I mean. So this clock was given to me when I graduated undergrad like 26 years ago. And this clock still is amazing. I think it takes like one AA battery, and that one battery will last the entire year. There's no winding. And I've gone to AliExpress and I can find cheap clock mechanisms for like $4 to $5. Not even guaranteed that they're gonna fit in here. I looked for some that might've had an alarm mechanism, and I did see another YouTuber, I watched the video, and they actually took one of those greeting cards where you open it and it has like a voice box, and they were actually able to lift or download the sounds from R2 and C3PO and then put it on that chip and use it as, you know, as a digital voice box. I got that thing working. It works great, and all it really was is a motor and a little bit of tensioning. As we saw, it's the clock that's broken. We do have a clock repair place near me. I don't even think it would be worth like the $100-something that they would probably charge me to have it fixed. If you have any ideas, I'm open to them. If you think you know what would be a good fix for something like this, I think it'd be fun to get it working like longer than just, you know, a day. And here's the part where I come in from left field, or I don't know if you've been watching my eyes through the whole video, you might have noticed I've been lying to you this entire video. I'm actually very familiar with this clock, and here's why. So in this 30-plus-year-old Village Creek box, I still have, that's right, my childhood original. This thing has been in this box for like 30 years. And it stopped working, I think, when I was in middle school, or it was on my shelf forever. And I remember having this as a kid, and I love this. You know, I got it for Christmas or something one year. I remember playing with this and it working kind of. Anything under the age of 10, and especially on a weekend, especially for Saturday morning cartoons, I was not using an alarm. Having to do it daily is really a pain in the butt. And also, if you're using it to wake up in the morning, say you're getting up for school at 6 a.m., you really have to figure out when it's gonna die. Because there were times when this clock just stopped working sometime in the middle of the night and the alarm never went off. Even though it has a battery in here, the battery is just for the talking part of the alarm clock. It has nothing to do with the clock itself. So it was very inefficient from the get-go. And I didn't know a lot about motors or electronics when I was in high school, and I took it apart and I was completely overwhelmed. I had no idea what I was looking at, and I think I put it back in the box. And unfortunately, over the years, it got really yellowed. If you know anything about the old Star Wars toys, how they get that weird yellowing, this definitely has it. I think just because it was in the box for so long. The C3PO and R2, when I was in high school, they actually cracked and fell off. And it wasn't until, you know, decades later when I started playing around with this again about like 10 years ago, and I took it apart again. I kind of had a little bit of a better understanding about how records work, and I actually got them to fix on here, and they're still holding. So at least I know that fixed. And here we have the exact same issue as the one that I bought at the flea market. However, this clock actually works, kind of. I just reset it again as I was working on it some more and resoldering. This thing works in small increments. It works, you know, maybe 2 or 3 hours at a time and then it dies. So it has the same issue as the other one. However, this one actually at least still works as a clock. I don't know. I have the one that I got at the flea market, which is more displayable than this one because this one is in really yellowed, rough condition and it's peeling. C-3PO is not the same voice. It's definitely not Anthony Daniels. R2 sounds a little bit more like R2, so I don't know if they couldn't get the licensing for Anthony Daniels. This definitely was a branded toy, but there's a bunch of other different types of talking alarm clocks in this line. I know there's like a Sesame Street one, there's a Batman and Robin one. I don't know, it's a really fun toy. They must be pretty rare because there's very few videos here on YouTube of people trying to fix them. And most people are just using them as an eBay auction site and they're not actually showing them working. And the main issue that I had with these are the 2 wires that actually go up into the clock need to be replaced with something a little bit thicker. The wires themselves are so brittle and so fragile that, you know, the rubberized coating around the wire, I can't even try to cut those off or slice those off. The whole wire just falls apart. For now, it's just a displayable piece. Can I fix it? Kind of. I think we did okay. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. I haven't done one of these in a while. It was a lot of fun. And these voice boxes are my arch nemesis. I've mentioned them before when I've done like the robot repairs and stuff on this channel. And for whatever reason, they were in pretty much every toy in the 70s and 80s that had a talking mechanism to it. So if you decide to take apart something that was talking, especially if it had a pull string and it no longer works, guaranteed you're gonna find one of these little record contraptions in there, and hopefully this video helps out. If you did like this video, please make sure you give it a like. Let me know if you had one of these as a kid. Please leave me a comment below. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.